listening to Sports Radio Detroit.
Hello and welcome to the exclusive Halloween night episode of Grave Discussions. I am your host, Barnabas.
And I am your co-host, Samael. Happy Halloween.
Yes, and welcome to episode 34, Tricks and Treats. And we have a lot of those for you guys tonight when we talk about all of the most delectable, most Halloween-centric horror movies basically to exist. And we're going to focus on perhaps the greatest one of all, Trick or Treat.
Trick or Treat, arguably. Because there's still Halloween, and then that's about it. That's its only competition is Michael Myers. So.
Yeah.
And I didn't really grow up with Trick or Treat, so it doesn't really give me that much of the, nostalgia feeling as Halloween does. But, all in all, it's a pretty good fucking movie. I found it at Kmart for $5 back in, 2012, and that's when I watched it for the first time, and it was really good. I liked it. I liked the score and everything, but we'll get into the details a little later.
Yeah, we're definitely going to expand more on Trick or Treat in just a little bit. Before that, we do have to give some shout-outs, of course, to Sports Radio Detroit. You can find them on social media at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for Sports Radio Detroit. You can listen to our show on there and lots of other really great shows. So let's just kind of jump right into it here. The first article today is about It director Andy Muschietti, I don't know if that's how you pronounce his last name.
I'm pretty sure, you did pretty good there.
Is set to direct Attack on Titan for Warner Brothers. Now, Attack on Titan, if you're not familiar with it, is an anime, but it falls into the horror genre because it's about these giant titans who seemingly have no intelligence. They just go around and eat people, and they've driven humanity to basically being composed of I don't know however many, but it's a couple thousand or 100,000 people or something like that. So, and this is supposed to be a live action, so if it works out, I think it could be really cool because the actual horror aspects of it are pretty dope. If you watch the anime, there's tons of gore and everything. So I don't know, what are your thoughts on that, Sam?
I don't know, I think it's gonna be pretty cool if they make it a atmospheric type of horror movie that is less actiony than most. I don't know. I think it can. I think they should do sequels of this, not just make one movie. So I think in the first one they should start off with the just one giant, and then they oh wait, there's more, and then they find that out in the next one. I think their main focus should just be this one antagonist, and it just be one giant for this first movie. I think that would be dope.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to approach it because basically the anime is set, some number of years after everything already has started. And so there's titans roaming around and stuff, but humanity has built these huge walls. And then one day there's this titan that is bigger than the walls and it destroys it, and then all types of shit happens. And then so the people form this militia where they have these zip lines that they can, I don't know, it's it's a cool show, but to translate it into live action, especially an American live action thing, it might be kind of cheesy. So yeah, maybe they'll do something like that where they show one, big titan at first, a prequel kind of thing, and then lead up and do some sequels. I don't know.
And then the sequels are going to be all action-packed. Fucking Tom Hardy and Christian Bale are going to be two of the ninjas that are trying to kill the fucking giants.
As long as it doesn't turn into some Transformers type shit.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking imagine all the characters from Inception in this movie.
Yeah.
It's that type of movie. Low shots of buildings falling and shit.
Yeah.
I fucking hate those.
I don't know. I feel it wouldn't really call for any huge stars. I don't know. It's interesting for sure. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. Right now, I think really the only news is that Andy Muschietti is attached to the project, and it's coming out through Warner Brothers. So we'll see. Next up is another adaptation. This one I'm actually really excited about, though, is the new Twilight Zone by Jordan Peele. It was just announced that they're going to be remaking Nightmare at 20,000 Feet.
And we just watched that like not too long
Yeah,
ago.
the super popular episode of The Twilight Zone.
And the movie.
Yep.
So this is kind of like it's like a remake of a remake, or if it's a remake of the original, or it's just a whole reimagining altogether. Either way, it's the third Nightmare at 20,000 Feet.
Yeah, but was the most recent one also black and white?
No, off the 1980 something Twilight Zone movie. No,
Yeah.
that was in color. I'm pretty sure.
But that was a long
one
time
was
ago.
That one was more like a gremlin.
Oh, okay.
And then the original black and white one, it was like a dude in like a bear suit or whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah, that was pretty goofy. So I'm not sure how they're gonna approach it. I think Jordan Peele might want to make it like scarier. But it's got Adam Scott, and I assume the lead role. So that's pretty interesting. I mean, I generally like him okay as an actor. But yeah, I do want to see Jordan Peele's twist on this particular, segment of the show, because it's just great. Like, I think what drove the original so much too is the acting. So it's going to depend on that as well, I think.
The people that are going to be like, walking up to him though and being like,
yeah,
sir, there's nothing on the plane. It's just going to be like, I don't know. I feel like this one might be like cliche. Like, I think it's going to be just as cliche as like, well, the original one wasn't so cliche. Hey, look, something's out there. We don't believe you. Look, something's out there. We don't believe you. And then something's really out there, or is it? You know, like, so I don't know. It seems like it's
all a huge mind fuck, but I mean, considering what he did with Get Out, I think he can pull it off.
Oh yeah, but that was different. This one, like, the formula isn't really set up for much to really happen other than your stereotypical Nightmare at 20,000 Feet remake.
Unless he takes it in another direction,
Yeah.
Unless he expands on it somehow. So we'll see.
Like, it's the pilot on the wing.
I don't know. That would be interesting. But let's move on. We're going to keep you guys updated with that, of course, because I am excited about this Twilight Zone remake. But finally, this was kind of a sad but interesting piece of news. I don't know why they just like singled out David H. Thornton in this article, but basically there was a bomb threat recently over like the weekend.
Oh shit.
At the Chiller Theater Expo, I believe in New Jersey it was, and he was among the celebrities that were there. It was like a horror, convention or whatever. And apparently there was like a weird smell, like potentially a gas leak, and then there was a suspicious package that arrived at like the place where they were hosting it.
Dude, I follow him on Facebook and Instagram. I don't remember seeing anything. I think I saw something. I don't know. I talked to him on both of those.
Yeah, I did too.
I'm surprised he didn't mention it. Maybe he did. I didn't.
I think he might have on his Twitter, but I don't know if he did on Instagram. But yeah, that was just kind of an interesting bit of news that I wanted to bring to people's attention because it happened, and I didn't really see it in a lot of other places, mostly just on like horror stuff. But with everything that's been going on recently, I don't know, just a crazy thing. Fortunately, nobody seemed to be hurt.
Good.
And the police like swept, and I think it said that they didn't find a bomb or anything like that. So let's move on real quick, give you guys a couple trailer announcements, and then we're gonna go jump straight into our main segment. So the first one is, I believe, an Argentinian film. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but it's called Luciferina, and the film revolves around a young girl who I think is like she's called a novice. I think it's like the first stage of being a nun or something like that. So she goes home to her dying father, and then her friends decide to do this like basically satanic rite for whatever reason. I think because her like mom died, or I forget why, but they perform this like ritual basically expecting things to go right, and go figure, they don't go right.
No shit.
Yep. So then they like basically summon the devil. But the trailer did look pretty cool. It looked crazy. I don't know, like it seems like it's going to be pretty brutal, but I think they kind of showed a little too much. But the premise in general is pretty sweet. So, yeah, be on the lookout for that one. It's supposed to be releasing November 20th on disc and then December 4th on VOD. The next one is called Blew My Mind, spelled BLUE like the color. This one's releasing November 13th, 2018 on video on demand. And this one is described as like a coming of age body horror movie. And you can see right from the poster on it, but essentially it's something like this girl is supposed to be turning into a mermaid or something. I don't like once she reaches puberty.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a super like weird concept, but it seems like it could be interesting. This one's coming out of Switzerland from Lisa Brulman, and yeah, November 13th. Just watch the trailer; it's like nuts.
Always gotta count on these foreign horror films to weird us out in a new way. I thought Tusk was bad. Let's see what this. It's not foreign, but I'm just saying, like,
yeah,
horror movies in general nowadays are just seems like they're just going for like. I bet there's gonna be a part where she like rips off her fins or something, or just eats someone's face, or.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be as like disturbing as Tusk, but yeah, it's described as like potentially like a Lovecraftian type of like body horror. I don't know. I'm interested in watching it, but there have been like a lot of mermaid movies recently. I don't know why. It's kind of weird.
The best mermaid was the mermaid from fucking Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, the merman.
Yeah,
just fucking ate that guy.
That was the best.
Yeah, that was pretty great. I also watched this like it was a Polish horror movie and it was about mermaids, but they were like sirens and I don't know, it was really weird. It was called The Lure. But the last trailer we have for you guys today is called Blood Bags, and this one is about a girl in Italy who with a friend decides to break into an abandoned mansion, and then they find out that there's a creature stalking them and they're trapped in there. So this actually sounds like a really cool premise. We finally have a new creature movie that looks actually pretty good, and the trailer doesn't really give a lot of spoilers, luckily.
I like the poster.
Yeah, it's like kind of a generic poster, and I wish they didn't show the monster on it, but it's a cool poster. I'm glad that it's like not a metaphor or some shit.
I'm assuming she's the main character.
I believe so, yes.
She's not gonna make it.
You think so?
According to this poster.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna grab her for sure.
He's like his arm is past her shoulder.
Yeah.
Left arm right by it. Like she. Hopefully it's a no hope movie and we could see a new creature just slaughter everyone. Every fucking what is it? Teenagers? No, it's a mansion, so it might be.
Yeah, but I think they are teenagers and they break in or something.
Oh fuck it, kill them all.
Yeah. The weird part about the trailer is that like it does show something of a creature at times, but then there's like also other people in it. I have no idea. I think there's cops at one point. So we might see a high body count.
Nice.
Possibly. So be on the lookout for that. It's actually premiering at the American Film Market.
What?
Starting, I think it's a festival. Today, actually, on Halloween through November 6th. So I'm not sure where that is. But if you're familiar with it or if you look it up, if you're in the area, you can go check out Blood Bags. All right, Samael. So we're going to get into our main discussion.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Wait, what was it?
Not about McDonald's.
But a film I do love.
Trick or Treat. And then we're going to be talking about some other Halloween-y horror movies for you guys. But first, we do have to give some shout-outs to a few other awesome shows on Sports Radio Detroit Network. And why don't you let them tell you why you should listen?
Hi, this is Chris.
And this is Roger.
And if you like Tigers baseball, Major League Baseball, minor league baseball, analytics, pop culture references, movies, sports, food, check us out. Look for Tigers SRD on iTunes, Google Play, or Spotify.
Do you love pop culture? Discussions about pop culture? Ranking and rating treasured pieces of that shared culture against each other?
I do think Flea's a good bass player. He does what he does very well.
And like I said, he's like a rock star, you know. He's eccentric. And what is so funny?
I just didn't know he talked so long about Flea. I didn't know anybody had so many feelings.
I do.
So many
I got
feelings.
feelings. Yeah.
Music, movies, television, food, sports, pro wrestling. We are the determination of what is over or underrated across all fields of greater cultural consumption. Subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts and Podbean, or visit us at sportsradiodetroit.com. Over Under Fair, your final word in pop cultural relevance.
All right, Samael. So the day is here, Halloween. And
Spelled Sam Hain, pronounced Sowen.
Samhain or something. But the day is here. You're going to be listening to this episode a little after Halloween night.
Unfortunately.
So, yes. I hope that you all had an amazing Halloween, and I hope that you guys watched Trick or Treat, because this is probably, in my opinion, I would say, like the most Halloween heavy horror movie.
Yeah, it really feels like Halloween the whole time, because everyone's always in costume. There's fucking jack-o'-lanterns everywhere. There's decorations everywhere. There's Sam.
Yes.
The pumpkin-headed man-child that is the spirit of Halloween that kills you if you don't follow the rules of Halloween. As we saw at the beginning, when that one chick tried to take down the Halloween decorations before midnight.
Yeah, she blew out the jack-o'-lantern.
Yep, Sam stabbed her with that lollipop.
Yep. Yeah, the cool thing is, like, so we've talked about Halloween a lot, and I'm sure we'll mention it here tonight. I'm mentioning it right now because, you know, some people think that Michael, at least in the original film, kind of represents, like, the spirit of Halloween, or is the spirit of Halloween. But Sam in Trick or Treat, like, really is, like, the spirit of Halloween.
Yeah, he's the literal, like,
yeah,
that's what he is.
And he is dishing out, basically, punishment to those who break or disrespect the rules of his holiday.
And did we mention this is an anthology film where all three stories are tied together? You see the serial killer from the first one dressed as a vampire in another one.
Yep.
You see Sam in all three of them, and you see some characters in the first that are also in the third story as well. They all tie in together. It's just about this one little city where a bunch of weird shit happens on Halloween.
Yeah, and, like, you know, piggybacking off of that, I think one of the really cool things about the structure of this movie is that, yes, all of the stories are connected, but they all flow together, I think, like, really well, because it's an over-encompassing thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, I just watched Body Bags also last night, but even something like, Creepshow doesn't even really have, like, a framework, but, like, think about something like that, or Tales from the Dark Side, or
All Hallows Eve.
All Hallows Eve.
That's a perfect one, because they're really similar.
Yeah. Although All Hallows Eve, I would say, is kind of like Trick or Treat, but basically, like, a lot of those other anthologies, they kind of take you out of it when they go to, like, the frame of the movie.
Yeah, like, I don't think Tales of Halloween, that didn't all tie in together, did it?
No, and I don't even know if there was, like, you know, a framework kind of storyline going on.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but, like, Tales from the Crypt, you know, it'll cut back to, like, the Crypt Keeper. Tales from the Dark Side, it cuts back to the kid, you know, reading the stories from the book as he's, like, getting chopped up. But that doesn't tie into, like, the actual stories either, right? And actually, I'm sorry, Creepshow does have it with that animated segment with the kid. Like, none of that stuff really ties in.
But that's not like with the Venus flytrap, whatever.
Yeah,
I remember that shit.
But that doesn't tie into the actual segments. You know, Trick or Treat does. You know, because it's Sam, like, literally going through town, like, you know, basically judging people as they do what they do on Halloween, right?
Yeah.
But it follows, like, the worst people. You know, it follows the former bus driver. It follows these, like, shitty kids. You know, it follows
the fucking serial killer.
Yeah, the serial killer, and then the fucking werewolves or skinwalkers or whatever, you know, they are. But yeah, it doesn't really follow, like, the normal people unless they're getting killed.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was weird that the serial killer, I thought he was a real vampire at first, because he, like, you know, sucked that chick's blood and killed her.
Yeah.
But you could still kill someone by piercing their, like, fucking carotid artery with a tooth. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, I thought it would have been cool if he actually was, but, you know, it still represented the whole vampire monster and genre just by him dressing up and pretending that he was a vampire. So
The score of this movie too, as we listened to earlier, that's like one of my favorite scores for a horror movie too.
yeah,
Like out of all, besides like The Changeling and The Exorcist, Halloween, Friday the 13th, this one's up there too, even though it's like more recent.
yeah. The cool thing about the score is like it feels suspenseful but also like festive, which I think is really cool. Like it just gives off mega Halloween vibes.
Yeah, this whole film does actually.
Yeah. And so like when you're going through like the transitions between like the little scenes, going back to like Sam or jumping into like something new, the score does a great job kind of guiding you through that, and it still makes you feel like, oh nice, like this is Halloween night, these kids are about to get fucked up by some ghouls or whatever.
Right?
And yeah, it's just like everything's bloody. It's great. Yeah, and I love the amount of like gore and practical
Yeah, I was
effects.
gonna say it was like some parts were kind of like, comedic, I guess, or like at least like the movie was pretty witty in itself, but like the gore kind of like the gore and comedy I think go hand in hand. That's what it seemed like in this movie. Like I would say this is like I would say I don't want to say horror comedy. It's a comedy with the horror movie with comedy elements, like because
but not like too much.
I don't even want to say comedy. It's just like it kind of doesn't take itself too seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like like Black Christmas. You know what I mean? Like the remake, not the original.
I think like
It has that kind of gore.
yeah. Well, I think what you're looking for. Are you talking about the comedy or
like how like the comedy and the gore going hand in hand, just like it is for like the Black Christmas remake and this. It has like the same type of vibe, same type of gore and special effects too. Like
yeah. I mean, I think it's not even like really that subtle with the gore.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the gore is like at some points it's like so a little bit over the top, and it's just like it's comedic, but not in like a it's ruining the movie type of way. It's like Evil Dead-ish, like.
Well, because it kind of feels natural, I feel like. Because I think you can make an argument for that scene at the beginning of the movie when we find like the dead chick's head on that like post.
Yeah.
And she's got that fucking like lollipop in her mouth, and her mouth is all stretched out, and it's just like super bloody. Like, okay, yeah, like it's a little cheesy, but
not cheesy. It's just like
but it doesn't take you out of it.
It's just like super exaggerated, but
yeah.
So was the whole Jason series, So
right. But I mean, when you get fucked up by the literal like spirit of Halloween, then and even the character himself is like represented like a kid.
Yeah.
Because that's what Halloween is. It's like, kids being able to trick or treat, pretend to be like something else. And the awesome thing is that like all the characters throughout the movie basically, except for the old man, are in costume. Because it's Halloween night. I think that's awesome.
That's why the old man gets it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think his character development is cool because for a moment there, we actually like think that he might have gotten away with it.
We kind of knew he was gonna die though at the beginning, because like during the serial killer segment, was his name Steven, the principal?
Yeah.
He was like he was talking to the neighbor, and then you see the neighbor inside his house screaming and asking for help, and then you already know what was gonna happen.
Right.
And then we get to finally see at the end of the movie, like da da da.
It's just kind of interesting that what happened at the end of the movie basically kind of corresponded with that. The whole like time of the events it's not chronological. Things happen. Actually, the beginning of the movie is the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Essentially, which I think is interesting.
Like on some irreversible type shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool that they like bookended it, but I do think I do think it kind of loses itself occasionally throughout the movie with the whole timing and everything. Like, I can get how it could be confusing,
The thing I liked is like the whole movie, it was obviously Halloween.
No, yeah.
Like we'll just say in the original Halloween, 1978, you see like a group of 3 kids run by, and then 30 minutes later you see another group. Like people didn't have really decorations up or anything at all, but in this one, like, it was just fucking balls out. Here, Halloween in your face. Like, Halloween's nuts were in your mouth during this whole fucking movie.
Like, every house had decorations and shit, and they were all, like, great.
Pumpkins, like, yeah, everyone, like, went all out in that movie. Like, I don't think it's realistic, but I think that's the point. Like,
Yeah, no, not because not every
Halloween is
like
kind of like dying off. I don't want to say dying off, but like, I mean, look outside. There's no one.
Yeah, it probably depends on the city, obviously, but yeah, around here it's not anymore because I think parents are too worried now about their kids. Like even if they go with them,
Yeah.
it's still like I guess I would be a little concerned if I had a kid, and be like, hey, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh no, I'll buy
Like,
you candy.
Like yeah, I'll fucking buy you some candy.
I'll buy you candy, buy a costume, you walk around the house in it, and you'll be fine.
Like you want to watch?
Sam won't get you.
You want to watch the craziest shit? You want to watch a Serbian film? Here you go.
Right? Happy
No, I wouldn't
Halloween.
do that. Right.
Make your kid watch a Serbian film on Halloween so they'll never want to celebrate again.
He's just crying. I'm just sitting there like, hey, at least you didn't get kidnapped tonight.
Right.
Like that could happen to you.
At least you can get a razor blade in your candy. All right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, actually, I was gonna mention that. Like I like how Sam's character in the movie basically played on some of these tropes, like having the candy bar with the razor blade in it as like a weapon.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. I just think the way that they like represented Halloween was super innovative.
Yeah, I haven't seen a movie like this, like where you break the rules and like, you die. Kind of up until like this year, The Barn is like another one that kind of did that.
Yeah, I think so too a little bit, but that had one continuous story.
Yeah.
But I do agree with that. But kind of going back to what I was saying before, like just playing off of that, I do like that all the segments still felt like their own stories. We were just kind of able to see them later, like at the end of the movie, we see the witch girl almost get run over by the werewolf chicks, like back in their human forms, having eaten or whatever. So I like the little callbacks. Like it doesn't feel too weird, but yeah, but the whole essence of Halloween in this movie is just crazy. Like with the whole parade and everything. Like I wish that was happening right now.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the Halloween spirit's not. I wish Sam would come here and just.
Yeah, right.
Where's your guys' pumpkin? You're not giving out candy.
I don't even think he'd be able to kill you. Like we don't have any pumpkins out.
Right,
or lit or anything.
Hey, I have a pumpkin on my porch.
Yeah, but like most of the other people on the block
Well,
do not.
They'd be fucked, wouldn't they?
I guess they would. Yeah, but yeah, he's a super innovative killer too. I mean, he has like a character has become sort of iconic now,
and
in horror.
And he's about to be in another Trick or Treat movie because we got the sequel coming up, I think, next year.
I think so. I have to like check back on the status on that, but I think that is still the plan, is to release it next year. I hope so.
Because we haven't seen shit from Sam Hain since 2007.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. I mean, yeah, that movie was released in 2007. I think Halloween back then was kind of more of a thing too. Just actual like people going out and everything. But it is a huge love letter, and it's also a love letter just in general too, because we see that archival footage at the beginning of like kids in the 20s or 30s or whenever the fuck it was, like trick-or-treating and stuff.
It was much bigger back then, because I mean now no one even needs to trick-or-treat for Halloween. You just go grab some candy from the store, grab grab the 3 bags for $12 from Party City, go back to the house, turn on all your fucking technology. Everyone has an Xbox, a Fire Stick, and fucking cable, and you watch. Nowadays, you just watch one movie for 10 minutes, get bored of it, flip around, go to sleep, and then Halloween's over. Like,
yeah, basically. And like everybody dresses up to like school or work and stuff too. So even little kids, by the time they get home, their fucking mom has like bought like 200 count of candy from Walmart or something. You can just pig out.
And if you see an adult in a costume and trick-or-treating, they're a loser. But there are those who go to parties, and if you see an adult in a costume, he's either a loser or he's trying to go get some. There's no mid ground.
What if it's like an older sibling? Like some hocus pocus type stuff.
Oh, you have to take. Well, you don't gotta dress up, you fucking weirdo. My parents didn't dress up when they took me trick or treating.
I would use it as an excuse to dress up because I love Halloween.
We go trick or treating. My dad walk around with a bat. What are you supposed to be? Bet. Yeah, that's it. That's all that would happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would. I mean, I would have dressed up for work today, but I didn't have any fucking time to like get a costume or think of one.
I'm gonna be a doctor when I have a kid, and my kid's gonna be like an aborted fetus.
Oh man. Just like slather ketchup all over him.
Right? Just go let's fucking all out for Halloween.
Oh man, that's kind of evil.
But yeah, guys, if you're in your 20s, don't go trick-or-treating. Don't be a fucking loser. Just enjoy it in a different way. You know, call some buddies over.
Yeah.
You
Watch some horror movies.
Watch some horror movie. Maybe get some candy. You'll be only a half loser. Go get some candy.
Yeah.
We have candy right now.
Yeah. Go to Meyer.
Tis the season.
Yeah, and after today, it's all going to be like half off and shit because stores are still going to have way too much candy. So I guess there is that.
What other movies would you recommend for today?
Well,
because I give Trick or Treat a 10 out of 10. So.
Oh yeah. So there are actually lots of movies that take place on Halloween or even are kind of centralized on Halloween. Not quite as much as Trick or Treat, but there are some. Obviously, Halloween, of course, the titular one.
There's Halloween. There's
Halloween 3 is actually a big one too. You mentioned it before.
Yeah, because that one's like super like Halloweenish. Because it's not just focused around it's not focused around Michael. Mm-hmm. There's these masks and this company, so you get to see a bunch of kids masked up trick or treating, and an Irish cult makes maggots come out their heads and whatever the fuck happens.
Yeah, that part's kind of weird, but I mean, overall, like the basic premise is very Halloween inspired. It's got masks, like basically possessing kids, and there's all kinds of like crazy shit going on. But
All Hallows Eve, we did the written review on that one. That's another one that you got to watch because that's another anthology one. There's 3 different stories. 2 of them are Art the Clown. The middle one's about an alien. So you get a little break from Art, kind of.
But he is in there in the painting.
Haha, Art. He's in Art.
Haha.
Art is an Art. That one wasn't David Howard Thornton?
Yeah, that was a different one. I don't remember his name.
Yeah, I don't. But Thornton's was.
Yeah, he just had the.
That smile was weird as fuck.
Yeah, I think he just had like the better body language, kind of,
and the facial expressions and.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, the original one. I mean, he was kind of a big dude though. When he was at the top of the staircase, you see his big old belly, and he's just laughing.
I like that David Howard Thornton is like lankier.
Yeah,
and so
it makes him weirder.
Exactly,
especially when he put on that wig after he scalped that chick.
That was weird as fuck. Yeah. Yeah, he was just a very like naturally creepy guy. Able like the way he like moved his body and stuff. That's why I think it was creepier that he was skinnier.
That's another Halloween. Watch.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly. We're talking about. Yeah, that one's great. Not quite as Halloween focused as All Hallows Eve, but we still recommend it, of course. All Hallows Eve 2 is also an anthology like the first one, though, right? And it's also got heavy Halloween themes. I haven't watched it. But.
It doesn't have really heavy Halloween themes.
Oh, okay. It's more of like a standard horror anthology.
It kind of seems like it. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of Halloweenish. There's a guy with a pumpkin mask, stalking this chick. Like the stories, one of them is about like a hitman killing a chick, and the chick thinks she sees him in an elevator with her, and then she stabs him, and it's not him, and she goes to jail, and it's not even as close to as good as the first one. It's not even directed by Damien Leone. It's directed by someone else completely. So
yeah, because that was like actually, I think that one was like a lower budget, like more independent one than even the first one was, or less known at least.
Another good movie is Hell House LLC. The first one.
Yeah,
the first one's like a dope Halloween movie.
Yeah, I think so. Does it take place on Halloween? I mean, it's got like the vibes because it's like a haunted house.
Well, leading up to Halloween.
Yeah, I think it's like opening night it's Halloween or something.
And that's when all that chaos happened.
Yeah, that is a great one for sure because you get to see all the like cool stuff in the haunted house.
And then The House is October Built was another good one. The first one was pretty good. Second one I didn't really finish it because.
Yeah, I don't recommend the second one as much, but the first one is really cool just like on premise alone. Going to all these haunted houses and like trying to find the most extreme one. I mean, it's still a huge Halloween thing, haunted houses.
Yeah.
So I think it's a cool premise. Like what ends up happening overall, but it's still pretty cool. I mean, I think there is like a fear of, going to a haunted house and something actually happening to you.
Well, yeah, because you never know who's just going to like, get into
crazy,
that crowd, hide in there, and just fucking stab you. Shit like that can happen. So
right, exactly. A movie actually that also tackles that topic, but in real life, is this movie called Haunters: The Art of the Scare.
What's that about?
Now I haven't watched it, but I did read up on it a little bit, and I'm pretty sure this is like an actual documentary.
Oh, on haunted houses and shit.
Yeah, but this is like a real documentary about people exploring like some of the most extreme haunted houses, and you know, they like interview all the performers or whatever and all the people who've done it, I think. So it looks pretty crazy. I haven't watched it, but it is on my list. But yeah, a couple other ones. Tales of Halloween is another anthology. That one, I don't know if there's like a huge interconnected story. I don't remember.
No, I don't think so. That one's on Netflix too. You could go check it out.
Yeah, I think it's just a bunch of segments. It is pretty cool. It's a little cliche and CGI heavy at times. Another thing I really loved about Trick or Treat, of course, was all the practical effects. We didn't really expand on it a ton, but I do love that they didn't use hardly any CGI in that movie. Tales of Halloween, kind of, but it's still a fun watch. One of the newer ones actually is Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween. I didn't get a chance to watch this one yet either.
Isn't that in theaters?
I think it's still in theaters, yeah. But this one is supposed to have huge Halloween vibes too. So, I mean, it's Goosebumps, you know, but I think this one's supposed to take place on Halloween or something.
We could probably go see it for like $4.
Yeah, I think it's in one of those cheap theaters now.
Or I could get it, I think Comcast maybe.
Yeah. Most likely. Yeah, we could check. That'd be a cool one to watch. I love the first movie, you know, so.
With Jack Black?
Yep. So I gotta see what this one is actually about. But yeah, if you're looking for more kind of like more family friendly stuff too, the Monster Squad is phenomenal. You know, you've got Dracula, the Wolfman. Let's see, I don't know anything else that you can think of.
We already mentioned The Barn.
Yep, that one's awesome.
That's one of the more newer ones, and it did a good job. The acting kind of lacks here and there, but
yeah, it was super low budget, but I think they did do a good job of representing Halloween.
What else is there? I mean, we've already covered like throughout the month. I think we've told everyone like
Night of the Demons.
Oh yeah, shit, Night of the Demons,
which we've talked about before.
1, 2, and 3, and the remake. They're all Halloween focused.
Yep. Yeah, that one's a huge one. Obviously, Halloween, and then yeah, there's like other movies that kind of take place on or around Halloween but aren't necessarily super focused on it. I'm trying to like think of one, like even like Silver Bullet. We talked about that this month. You know, that's not like heavy Halloween themes.
It was just werewolf, and that's one of like the main themes of Halloween.
Yeah.
You know, so
I think it was like leading up to Halloween. I think the last part of it took place on Halloween night, but it wasn't like, you know, we were seeing tons of shots of like kids, you know, running around and trick-or-treating and stuff like that. But yeah,
other than your stereotypical Disney Halloween movies like Don't Look Under the Bed, you know, Halloween Town, all those Hocus Pocus ones and all that shit. Like, I mean, I think it's a good way to wrap up Halloween. We ran out of Halloween stuff to discuss.
Yeah. Also check out
the new Halloween.
The new Halloween, and then we didn't mention it, but the Huluween. All those short films.
The short films, yeah. They're not really like Halloween based, you know, so
but the cool thing about them is, you know, similar to kind of Trick or Treat, they cover kind of like a wide variety of different like subgenres and monsters and things like that. And that one movie, Carved, that one is pretty like Halloween heavy.
Another Halloween one, I think it was like a sci-fi original called like The Pumpkin Carver.
Ooh, nice.
Carver with a K.
Okay. Wow, so edgy.
Right?
Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. If it's a sci-fi movie, it's probably at least like stupidly entertaining. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, go check out all those movies. If you haven't seen Trick or Treat for some reason, go check it out. There's a new Scream Factory Blu-ray which has like a shit ton of special features on it. That's the one I watched last night, and it looks amazing. So go pick that up wherever. But watch Trick or Treat. Let us know what you think about it. Let us know why you love Halloween, what your favorite part of Halloween is, why you think it's so important in horror movies. You know, I mean, we didn't really talk about that a ton, but I think it's so obvious. You know, it's just like, you know, it's supposed to be the night where, you know, ghosts and spirits and monsters and everything like come out to play, basically. So the fact that it's so prevalent in horror just makes complete sense.
Well, yeah, I think horror movies would a lot of horror movies wouldn't even exist without having Halloween as their thing, because even Halloween originally was supposed to be the babysitter murders, but you know, they wanted it centered around Halloween because there had never been a movie named Halloween before that taken place during Halloween. And then honestly, once 1978 Halloween started, like there's so many more movies that came out like that just let's set it during Halloween, and then that's what they did, and
Yeah.
that was that.
Because I think, it's just the celebration of all things like weird and fucked up and monsters and all of that. So, yeah, it makes total sense to me. Well, let us know your thoughts and comments. And I hope that you guys had an awesome Halloween. I think we're going to wrap it up here. Just have a little bit of a shorter episode so we can go watch some horror movies and eat some candy.
I think so. I'm trying to get diabetes tonight. So.
Oh, yeah, of course. Watch some classic horror, I think. Is the way to go. So let us know what you guys watched on Halloween. You can do so on all of our social media.
On Instagram, type in Grave Discussions. On Facebook, search Grave Discussions. And on Twitter is Grave Disc SRD.
So go follow us, like, subscribe. But I think that's going to do it. Do you have any final words for the people on this Halloween night?
Thanks for tuning in. Hope you have a happy Halloween. And we'll see you next week on Grave Discussions.
This has been an SRD production.